Thank you for joining us for the Vitals Module Help video. The Vitals module provides the ability to document the patient's vitals for the current encounter, as well as the history. Click on the Vitals button. Inside the Vitals module, you can click on the Temperature button to enter the patient's current temperature in either Fahrenheit or Celsius. Click on the Location drop-down to indicate where the temperature was taken. Click the Heart Rate button to record the patient's heart rate. Click the Irregular checkbox if the patient has an irregular heartbeat. Click the Respiration button to record the patient's respiration rate. Click the Labored checkbox if the patient's breathing is labored. Click the BP Systolic button to record the patient's systolic blood pressure. Click the BP Diastolic button to record the patient's diastolic blood pressure. Indicate if the patient was sitting, standing, or in supine position when the blood pressure was taken by clicking the Patient Was drop-down. Click the Taken At drop-down to indicate the location the blood pressure was taken. If the Take At option is Other, enter the location inside the Other box. Enter in the patient's height in either inches or centimeters. Click the Height button. Enter in the patient's weight in pounds or kilograms. Click the Weight button. Once you enter the weight and height, the BMI will automatically calculate. Click on the O2 saturation button to record the patient's O2 saturation level. Click the Head Circumference button to enter in the patient's head circumference in centimeters or inches. Click the Chest Circumference button to enter in the patient's chest circumference in either inches or centimeters. Click the History button to view the patient's vitals history. Click the Routine Interview button to navigate to the Routine Interview Questions module. Click the Save button to save the information that has been added. Click the Cancel button to discard any changes or information added. The Refuse checkbox will be automatically checked. Click on the Reason Code button and choose a reason from the list of refusal reasons provided. All refusal codes are based off of SNOMED codes. Reasons are categorized by patient, medical, or system reasons on the left side. You can either search by code or description. Click the appropriate refusal code and then click Select. Enter an additional note or comment to complement the reason if necessary. If a refusal was used, that section of vitals will be grayed out and the refuse will have a green check mark. As you record vital information into the system, it will begin to chart the information on a graph. The measurement will always be on the y-axis, while the data will always be on the x-axis. On the left, select which measurement to chart by clicking it. Deselect a measurement by clicking it again. The legend on the right denotes the value colors. Clicking on the Metric checkbox will switch the measurement from standard to metric. If there are a lot of data points on the graph, there will be a slide bar along the x-axis. You can move it to showcase a certain date range. Click Close on the History screen to go back to the Vital module. Click on the Vitals module again to edit the vital information. The previous vital information, such as the date and time and who they were taken by, will show up on the screen. This screen will allow you to add another set of vitals. Click Add to record an additional set. Once you save the information, the older vital information will show up on the screen first, and then the second set will show up underneath. Edit a set of vital information by selecting the data and then click Edit. This will bring you back to the Vitals Input screen. Make the appropriate adjustments and then click Save. Click on the Growth chart to access the patient's growth chart. These charts are based upon the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's clinical growth charts. At the top, you can change which chart you would like to see by clicking on the Category drop-down and select the appropriate chart. The patient's BMI is plotted over the patient's age in years from 2 to 20 years of age. The patient's head circumference is plotted over the patient's age from 0 to 36 months. The patient's length in inches or centimeters is plotted over the patient's age from 0 to 36 months. The patient's height in inches or centimeters is plotted over the patient's age in years from 2 to 20 years old. The patient's weight in pounds or kilograms is plotted over the patient's age from 2 to 20 years old, 0 to 36 months, as well as the patient's length and the patient's height. The unit type can be changed from standard to metric by clicking on the Scale drop-down. The percentiles are all charted on the graph. The legend on the right side will show which color represents which percentile. The yellow dots on the graph show the patient's data. Hover over the data point to show more information. Click the Print button to print the current graph. Click Close to close out of the growth chart. If you need any additional help or have any further questions, please call the Genius Solutions EHR support line at 586-751-9080, option 7. Thank you.